Oh, welcome to this spot in the world and at the same time in the same place where your screen is. Are you screaming? Are we having enough ice cream? You better be Italian. All right, the word of the week is expansion and is the last days. They are the last days of the month. So it does not mean that theoretically is how every week is of the month. This is just an exercise to see how verbs change meaning by these three, four, five functions when you are opening your intelligence within the multiverse and you are activating with others as you build up multiple scripts, act on them, and at the same time produce and delegate with all your friends up and down and around. Yes, this is another form of hierarchies where you all rotate and expand and contract and take the mickey out of each other. But keep also at the same time respecting the boundaries of each form of intelligence and verse. There are boundaries. You can't cross over just like that, even if you want to. Uh, it's beyond breaking the tissue of reality. It's science. Science. Right? So there is a transition in the last days of the month. So it could be the fifth week of the month because we have 6 days from yesterday of expansion. So it's not an expansion that comes from a vibe. It's not like a vibing expansion, even though we have a lot of sunshine. Everyone is happy here in Britain, United Kingdom, Windsor. The British love the weather and celebrate every every nature of it. We in Spain love the British for it because they bring the sunshine. We don't appreciate the sunshine because we have it nearly all the time. So, thanks to the British, we appreciate the sunshine. I came from work crying because it was so beautiful. The people and the children and the grandpas and grandmas. Very emotional because there is flowers all around. Crying because I really love where I am. I really love where I am. I love to garden in a place where people garden. Um, get to appreciate the expansion of flowering. Can understand what's the same language of gardening. Something some cultures do. Um, the British culture, maybe with China, is number one in gardening around the world. They do have the best gardens in the world, and of course, British Columbia. British Columbia now more than the very Britain, because British has a lot of concerns from around the world, and it's a luxury to garden nowadays. Being said, is an expansion that is not from within. When you are activated on a storyline that could be action and very fast, or you have a character that's within an office or a scenario, but your team is out there in the field, So you're watching what you can cover for them while being in the back with more diplomacy than those who are using their forebrain with characteristics that need to be in charge of the terrain and characters that they are facing with a faster reciprocity of an interactive. It's a faster and more active generator of storylines. Especially when they are going on a mission or on a relation or undercover as such. There is timing. This is why it's so different to expose the meaning of each word that goes throughout a week or in these last days of this month, February, for a few days that are nearly as full as a week. It does matter if the transition cover a full week or the transition is a few days. You never thought about that because you're always living in a loop, doing the same year after year. When you were at school, college, in university, you go from your mother to a girlfriend. You go from one institution to another. It's very easy. It's very easy to continue doing what you are supposed to do. Copy and paste, monkey see, monkey do. It's very easy. Now, when you're talking with mediators in the real life of the world and the needs the world has as such, and the divinity to reach higher states of consciousness, and to some in connection with God, you will save that to your privacy in your own verses. You will save that to your own regards in your church, in your prayers. Is intimate. Everything that is loving, familiar, and spiritual is intimate. To talk about it is not nice. Yeah? It opens a stage that separates from everything. And the purpose is to continue to carry that essence throughout any form of play field, any form of fields. I want to say because expansion might be a beautiful world when you see that's expanding and at the same time it dies, giving room to the cycle of life. More and more we grow older and we wish to die in peace. We wish to not have pain and carry understandings throughout the limitations of our pain. It will all have to have a reason to be hurt. For example, those who care so much about what others think and live from the public opinion will really worry and suffer because of that. So you will have an expansion and at the same time a limitation, a contraction. You cannot do the things you would wish to do unless you are a character of the wilderness, unless you are an unknown person, unless you are a person or a character in the multiverse that doesn't have any need of social approval. Most of the people need family approval, social approval, the work approval. Many are still learning to work accordingly. Normally, you will have to teach and you will have to learn. And each job is different. More in the Christian, because we all love to teach and learn and say sorry a lot. And we love to come a little bit out from our hearts and be a bit more of a good Christian and say something that's a formal form of confession, or say something that is maybe not. And we appreciate it and step back. So we limit ourselves, as expansive and free we might be. In a little time lapse, we might also retrieve and contract to not cross over too much. In the same way, sometimes we do appreciate that form of freedom and flexibility to expand and contract. The very god Eros from the Greek mythology, who brings the meaning of creation, is Cupid in the Italian Roman Empire. And let's remember, these are energetical fields who always exist and will always exist throughout the dictionaries and the verses. You must prepare for what I'm going to tell you, because this is only under one direction and it has a limited time. You cannot be acting double or postponing to elaborate the laws for the tech titans that exist for the multiverse and the tech titans that exist for the universal values and coin. To start right now with the Europeans for the rest of the world. Maybe United Kingdom has had some money from United States and Trump, but I do not know if there is a percentage to administrate to help administrate from around the world. The laws need to be done for the environment. We need the talent from around the world to be filtered and to expand what is better and what is worse environmentally. Yeah. So I have this stick here that says world map. Yeah. And you have limited time for the oceans to come up and melt. Yes. You have limited time to avoid the disasters in the world. Those who are engaged in the same cycle of a pipeline of money through a 360 something or more companies that are around the world, burning the Amazons, and now Venezuela. When you already have farmers, because the meat is cheaper, you should go to jail to accept such a deals. And Trump, cut it off. Cut it off. This can only happen through a technological globe map, so we can grow up together and elaborate from what is being reported. I don't need the people to come out with the laws. I would love the people to shout for their rights. I would love the people to take over the governments of Trump and the left. So it finished. It's done. Unfortunately, Erica Kirk and Candace Owens cannot come to terms. So for good or bad, and for good and bad, there is no achievement of anything but just podcast and viewers. And if you think people are going to be better in that way, it's not going to help so much unless you are in power to eliminate and erase all the sickness that's going throughout not only the government of the United States of America, but as an example for the rest of the world to mirror. Because the rest of the world has evolved less. We have evolved way more, also with our hearts and our freedoms and understandings. And we have created horrible problems, impossible to achieve at a time, impossible to correct with the right people at that time. We could only have done these things to multimedia. And to believe the voice and freedom of expression exists within us in our Christian field. We are Christians who also have studied from psychology and psychiatry, thanks to the Greek gods and the gods from India and the gods from China. They all have energy fields of paradise and enlightenment as health that we have here now all the time on earth. We have the potential to auto-generate happiness from around the world right now, non-stop. The tech titans are never going to agree unless they are being put down on their place with laws that are accepted from all around the world. This is why it's so important to disconnect from them until they accept the laws that exist for each individual and each leader of the world that takes care of its part of its own country and culture. Remember that they are never going to obey, they are never going to do it because the abuser will never give up. You have learned from 20 years of hiding criminals of the highest score, which have sadly committed horrors we've never expected to see. And we still watch Trump. We're still watching how they hide it. Bill Gates as well. He will steal from so many people as me and my colleagues, my role players who are still waiting. It's not been 20 years. This is for the benefit of humanity to interact, to share, to understand what is real life and what is fiction. We won't have so many people on X posting imaginary memes and criticizing people because they will be in virtual reality naturally. If you give them the power, they will explore a better forms to entertain themselves, giving the trust and the power. Eggs would serve better to digest information. I will do as the Pope Leo said and be less time in internet for lentils, Lent. It's not a sacrifice, it is a medicine to look at the sun rays, the rays of the sun. I look for my children when I sleep. I look for my children when I go to sleep. I look for my children when I wake up. I look for the generation as well. All these years have served well thanks to you. They won't have to clean and look into the devastation that has been made by people who never cared because they were afraid. You will be able to look into every industry and their artificial intelligence generated. It is not about suing, but about getting the percentage. They will have more in return with the universal coin credit. You cannot go and look for more oil. You cannot go to dig for more gasoline. If you think there is fortune there, I was born there. I was born there, raised to take care of the trees of my country and the lungs of the rest of the world. There is nothing metaphysical for you but to take care of the reality that you have right now. When you look at your people, do you want to look at your people like if they are farm animals for other countries? Or they own the rights of their own culture, they own the rights of all their findings, they own the rights of every element, counting the oxygen that's been produced to the world. You own the right to praise your people. As humans, you are not selling yourself and your people for so little, giving everything away, because these are only new technologies. I wish I had the time to look at all the laws and allow the tech titans to operate for their layer, which signifies their entity, so they can help one another to cover each areas assigned for what they are. Each platform is built for a category. You don't need to find it yourself. You must know that people that care about the world and politics are not in X. People that care about going in outer space are not in X. So these platforms can be taken over very quickly as well and be replaced. There is no power that can take over the value of your country spiritually as well. So your culture is still alive, not just in books, but in your own domain, in your own land, so no one would erase it or change it, at least for your people, until they understand that we have genius from all around the world, and they do not only belong to the white culture or the Jews, whom are very intelligent for finance and administration and giving trusts and having codes of secrecy. We all like to feel special in one form or another for what binds us together, that which we do for our own. Remember that only the Europeans will have the long standing memory field that no other part in the world has to administrate these laws. It is better you think as a tech titan and gather together to determine what is the best form to not consume too much bad energy. So you have data centers. They are incredible talented people in the United States who make documentaries by their own. I would love to give the credit to one who just made a documentary on the noise of the sound. Um, I will write better the people that I watch and like to give their credit for their work. So it's considerate in the present to have more awareness with those who are making these laws, and it is good to tackle and talk about how these laws can be helped in the map for those who have a layer of orientating people to see what is the structure that we are escalating from A to C to Z to make it 100% healthy. And if not, it should be completely closed. We don't need artificial generated intelligence. We need to slow down with it because the tech titans will never stop unless they are stopped. They are too greedy. They have a fever of gold. I wish you understood what is that, to have that. You will invest before the other. They're competing. They help each other if they are allies. But at the same time, they don't wish the best for one another because they wish to be the most powerful with their investments and publicity. The world can recover. People can be born again. You are a body and they think to be the brain. When I talk about we humans having a collective consciousness as one, that we can feel for one another, or have a cognitive notion of understanding, consciously or unconsciously. It can be submerged, the knowing. Not that everyone has the culture or had an environment to express, but everyone knows. Even if a person is gaslighted, they know. It can be so buried inside. that you will wish me to bury it for you. I'm here for people to have a higher experience of human consciousness. I'm not here to tell you the truth. I'm not here to have findings for you. Any person could see it before when you step there. You will come want to see it. It doesn't matter who it is. We're all sharing the same part in history. So you will wish your future generations to be dancing, to not have iPhones. So it's illegal to be filming and taking pictures where you dance. It is illegal to make pictures when you go to a music concert. All these measures, because the collective consciousness would never reach there unless they're taking drugs, and that is fiction. You would like to have the glimpse of transcendence through drugs and alcohol. You can have that naturally as well. I would love to have a podcast with my boyfriend. If there is a way to have measurement with drugs and alcohol, what is it missing in this society that some people cannot have measurement? Could you create these boundaries? If you want to have drugs and alcohol, can you create measure, or do you really have to never consume again? What is the problem to be running away all the time to get more? I've been trying to study this for so many decades. Like, why some people have grown up with environments where they take care of each other and it's recreational, even spiritual. Once a year, once every 7 years, for a spiritual journey. I find out you don't need that really. You don't need that at all. You don't need to go to India to have a spiritual retreat. You do need certain space and transition. I have found too that people wouldn't go to India. Narcissists wouldn't go to look within themselves. And we have a more narcissist and narcissistic generation than ever that's obsessed with how you look and what you have, consuming little things, thinking that you will find everything in artificial generated intelligence when you don't. And how how do you have the most influential, knowledgeable, wise intellectuals around the world? Because they talk with each other about history, about science. They talk with each other for 5 hours in the Mediterranean, in Spain, in Italy, in Greece. Not necessarily academics, but per capita. Not because you need to become better than another, but people know how to bring arguments. They won't kill each other. They will never kill each other for having different opinions. It's jovial all the way. So we're losing that. in the north of Europe as well, when people go to the bar after work. In Europe, we have towns where we go always to the town from the cities. We have a second house, a family. So we expand in the cities and retrieve in the town. We have that love affair with the town as well. We transit from town to city. We go around the towns as well. So to the main town. Europe is not a place where you have malls. Now we have. I want you to understand from the core of your existence how important it is to achieve a perfect foundation for artificial generated intelligence on each culture and continent that is healthy and allowed to see your influencers talking about what matters most in a priority list. My hands hurt from working in a store. My both hands hurt. I was crying because I wish to be with my mother and I love her so much for everything she brought to me with tears and so much beauty walking from work because I have beautiful colleagues. Some problems. It's that it's not easy to be alive. Just enjoy life. You might not understand why not the doctors want to make an examination and you've been asking so many years to have an examination of carpal tunnel. But you insist you will have to be a millionaire to have the right doctor to do as they should. But they will have to put this money in wars. They will have to put this money in killing people. Because there's a few that believe they can own the world. If people don't do what they say, there is better to have an atomic bomb in Israel. So the Arabs stop fighting for it. So the Israelis stop killing people and mistreating Christians as well. So they see what they have created. You do this, that's a response from what you did. To stop this sickness that has happened through thousands of years and stop the wars that are being invested from decades ago with the belief that these people will learn if they obey or what is better. And yes, they have not evolved as much. We have better ways to evolve through human interaction. People can see it by themselves. They all will fight to keep the old ways, to keep the girls, the woman, the children in a slow condemning process just to be. We are born from that, man and woman. You might become a man But you are born from that. That your mother is your greatest love from many lives. It is true. It means the world to you. If your mother had a spiritual recollection of events for you, with nature as well, with God's creation, by loving everyone, and understanding your distance and nearness, your expansion, your capability to give, and your limitations. Then we could transit together from this generation to the next, respecting those who are still alive, that can administrate this message accordingly. United Kingdom is in the middle of the world map. In the other side is a few islands from the oceanic islands. It is easier to have a place where mediators can meet as the central point. Europe has given so much that in the name of all the past, we could move forward, understanding who cares for each nation. In the same way, Venezuela is renewing themselves and finding forgiveness for the past. We all come to forgive each other and confess and try to find new venues of expansion. So, I got a letter from my children in British Columbia, and I will read it now. I didn't want to keep crying as I got the envelope when I got home. We all have a personal transition that's expanding. It doesn't mean that it is really happening in reality. You are still the same, and I am still the same. And my children are still the same in a foster family in Canada, British Columbia. And my husband, that I have to divorce, is still the same. But we have an expansion from a letter that was written, and I can read after 1 year of having another letter that I have the communication from the guardianship social worker, that I can see my children online. It's one of the greatest news because I don't see them in maybe 6 years. I don't talk with my children or my daughter. So I will talk first with Alice because she's 17 and maybe they want to take care of how is my relation with them, because there have been always people in between talking bad only because they want money. This is what I had to undergo. I wish that no one in the future has to deal with these ministries of children and family. And that will be for another time to talk about, as we have better designs, better architectures for women to take care and work together as we used to do, and for men to recover whenever and however they like to do without having to live from other people, because men are the most traumatized. Said by international therapists who were doctors of psychiatry and psychology. Men are most traumatized because women are used to ask for help because they have children or and a family to maintain. So women had more stamina to suffer and continue for a long time and give themselves for their family by asking for help. And women always found shelter and job where they would be seen as good people, while men had to face wars and violence from man to man disheartedly. Roots with one another, pretensions to be the best or taller. Men could not express themselves for their needs. They would rather kill and lie to win. It's not time for and had to be scrupulous and team up together to survive. Something women don't know how to do. But there are many men who are psychologically and socially disturbed. Yeah. I'm not talking on a generic social context on how the brain operates to have money and finance and be directors or keep your work calm. I'm talking how the spiritual among us, that part of the intelligence that's between us and God, has become completely corrupted and mistreated. So it cannot expand once having that power that's been shared by them. Because there is a great lack. So if you look at them, they really still look like children. A part of the brain have surpassed and did everything they could to be stronger, more powerful, but another part is completely disassociated from being nourished, well cared. It doesn't matter if they are married or they are single. It doesn't matter if they're straight or gay. The majority of men are highly contracted in a part of themselves, is so wounded that they still want to control others and manipulate others because they cannot help themselves. And when man can understand that humanity itself can flower itself without the need of manipulating anyone in a system that it can show the contribution, the tools, how much we give back, because when we give back, we have more. We're not creating a lazy society that's just having. Not because you're poor, you're gonna work also for it. To have more. Working is a medicine. Interacting is a medicine. Understanding the numbers, what we have. We can come to an infinite source that's uncountable, and it happens by itself. But we need to follow this process of achieving goals, of understanding the times, the seasons, to create a structure, to create a pathway that's expanding. And what if it is expanding at the same time in synchronicity from all around the world, thanks to you, thanks to your love, because you believe in one another. You believe in everything you can have in return. Because you have belief and trust in humanity. And you can talk with each other as gods from the only greater God that unites us. Know that all your religions lack character traits of forgiveness, character traits of confession. We Christians not only confess to the priest, we confess to one another. You need a lot of maturity for that. For your children, for your men and women to be beautiful, to grow tall out of this, to see a better world tomorrow that's not being destroyed from greed, misery, and a rat race that goes nowhere. You continue like this, your artificial generated intelligence is gonna have to be disconnected. And let's not say why, because it's not gonna happen. You never threaten anyone, because every threat becomes a reality. You must be very, very stupid to threaten people without having other options, without having the technological globe map to see how much power you have already while building peace, how much power you can have together by reaching the stars and space stations. The day you stop fighting with each other. Children love to fight. They will cry. They want to find the edge. And you don't even do that. You won't want to cry. You won't want to find the edge of the other. Who's your brother? You would rather have your own nature in misery for no reason. You would rather have your people investing in weapons for no reason. Having so much power and technology. So expand your heart. Jump. Allow the oxygen to build wilder. Jump like a child. Jump. Run with the ball. Pass the ball. Find the limits of one another again as children would. Become a child. To mature, you must recover your inner child, your vitality, because you will grow old without that flexibility, by being chased in the head and numbers to have more. None of you will be remembered because everything will have to be destroyed. We'll have to start from scratch. You will be remembered when you listen to each other carefully. Each one of you represent your entity. Know well for whom you stand. You can only track this by people who fight for the people. The sickness will always repeat as a pathology. And what has happened in government is to be removed. They can pay willingly, what represents the percentage, or unwillingly, by force, be removed by the law of the people. It's impossible that a few cats are gonna have the ownership of the world with these technologies and poison the earth. And cows, or cows. I mean cows. This meat used to enter from Ireland to UK or McDonald's and the supermarket Tesco illegally. It's been reported when Boris Johnson was here. Boris Johnson alerted all the presidents in Europe because they were bringing illegally all this meat. It was cheaper. It's cheaper. From Brazil, all those fires you have seen in the Amazons were from Brazil. So you want to make the Amazon, all the green areas, to burn them more? It's just only a few acres here and there. Just wake up. Wake up to your savage ignorance and stop being monkey see, monkey do, because you belong to a group. You have higher priorities to attend. You cannot do everything because you need to push forward an envelope that's and Trump. Nobody wants to see you anymore, nor hear you. Everyone who has voted from you, everyone that has been part of believing in Illuminatis, believing in aliens, in conspiracies, and voted for you to show the Epstein files. They don't want to know anything about you anymore. And your people, because they all belong to the same pot of lies. It's very sad to see the truth. I play great evils and all sort of characters in the multiverse. Um, I reserve my sadism for that, for some jokes. If it can help for someone to learn from laughter. But to love one another is something that's in the environment. You can have a lot of tension without understanding what that is until you die. You can resist and think that because you have money, you don't need love. as long as you look good with your publicity. So all that's been published is never going to exist anymore in this way like it does in the near future. Thankfully, we will need to be infected from scandal after scandal and heartbreak after heartbreak from powers and superpowers because we like to be better than that. And this is why I'm asking for this generation to take over because they can't. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know how you're going to talk about corruption and who is leading this corruption. But this is not a few people that are Jew or a few Illuminati. There's a lot of people. But they're not all. All sorts. There are also black people that rape children in ghettos. That's why they have so many gay black in the Spanish communities. This is a reflection only. I thank Prince William and Catherine to look so beautiful in the CAFTA awards and still have award for trying to have a good state of mind. Not everyone is the same, but we all carry more or less, from near or far, the same story, even if we didn't do it. So there is a level of sharing the same when in reality everything that's happening around the world on a greater scale is good to maintain, like the paradise that we have inherit. Maybe the majority has not explored the paradise we have. The real, true paradise that exists, dancing, celebrating, having a beautiful, healthy body with people that are beautiful as well, naturally, of course. To people like Clavicula and the people in South Korea that do so many surgeries. It's very interesting to have. It is good to have an aim to be beautiful and have a few things being made here and there. There's nothing wrong by taking care of your body and become an artist with your body. There is also something underneath that needs to be fixing. Right? But it's also good to look at that in a society and a generation. Why is not feeling healthy? So it is good to look uh, inside and do hypnosis to remember what happened in your childhood when you were raped, when you are in a society that's abused. For example, people that don't have human rights are absolutely abused. They don't have any form of emotional intelligence to enjoy their emotional intelligent field where there is information throughout all the arts. Yes? From the worst to the best. You cannot have the best of it without knowing its depth and its worst as well, if you are a true creator. A true creator is not someone that's learning. When you learn, you copy, you study others, you regenerate from others. You can be very smart and clever, make a lot of money like that. It doesn't mean you are a creator. Generated artificial intelligence is making people create content by picking from others and thinking what others would like. But your consciousness is below zero if you continue in that way. Okay? When we share in the multiverse, I won't know who you are in real life. I will only know the character. As you might only know the character by law, if you like a multiverse to work, that it cannot be copied by anyone. Make sure that all our work is not stolen, that's been stolen, is continuously stolen the more we share. We're not animals from these tech titans where they are taking everything as we speak. So this is over. I appreciate my computer and I will be very happy to have another computer, another phone made in Europe for Europe or for South America if I'm in South America. No, that does not belong to Huawei or the people in China, but for my own nation, for my own system of belief until there is justice and a universal understanding. In that expansion, I like to leave today for you to have this transition, and it will be always the same story as we get going. So enjoy that's in the periphery as we are merging from here and there in this very moment. And thank you. Thank you for understanding this message. As difficult as it has been, only you know how you like to be remembered in history. Whatever you used to be. Yes? And it's not just to be remembered, but through the information that you left in your DNA throughout your children, grandchildren, and the creation that has passed through you, but is not yours. Yes? Thank you. It's like that. All the leaders at the same time. The companies from United States wanting to help these data places in India have not come to that conclusion. The president of India has not come to that conclusion as well for their laws. Only Europe can do it as fast as possible. If I am paid and I can take care of my mother and my children, that's all I ask. For the percentage that goes through me is for the influencers, but it's not for me. I have to speak for it in first person. You will understand when you have your characters, and your characters are being created in first person. When you are working towards something with your for what your characters represent, it's not an abstract supposition. It's real, and you will never have the capacity to understand that because you are not part of building the multiverse. So this message is not for you. Okay? With time, you will get it. Bye.